Hi, how are you? I'm coming to you because I wanted to give you a little bit of Insurance 101. I've been doing insurance in the state of New York for probably over 15 years. We're going to stop at that. I like to everybody to think that I started when I was 12. So I have a lot of people that actually come to me for insurance advice regarding homeowners, car, life insurance, boat, umbrella policies, personal article floaters, you name it. So I figured instead of hoarding all the knowledge that I've learned, I'm going to go ahead and put it out there and I'm going to share it with you. Because I figure as long as I get a chance to educate someone and I'm helping someone else out, then this is what I was put here to do. So please excuse me because this is my first video, but sometimes it's just easier to do a video than for me to continuously answer the questions, whether it be cell phone text, Facebook Messenger, even Instagram. So I'm going to put a link to my Instagram underneath. So if you have questions, you can always drop me a question there. And I might just turn around and answer it via video just like I'm doing here. So I just want to also put out there that I always want everyone to check with your state for the rules and regulations in your state when it comes to insurance. So by no means am I saying that this fits 100% of the cases out there. This is just insurance 101 insurance advice. So now, my first thing that we're going to talk about, in this video, we're going to be talking about flood insurance. So here it is. I actually live in the state of New York. I'm in the process of writing a homeowner's insurance policy for a particular insured, and this insured is actually in a flood zone. So I always like to let everybody know that a flood only constitutes two things. It would be the overflow of a body of water and the runoff of surface waters. And when I say the runoff of surface waters, I mean, let's say that you have where a dam broke, and then here it is, now it's you, your neighbor, the person down the street, so on and so forth. Not in the event that, oh my goodness, the hose broke in the basement or a pipe broke in the basement, now my basement is flooded. That is not what they consider to be a flood. So I actually live in Long Island, and like I tell everybody, Long Island is considered to be, regardless of if you're in an X flood zone, which is considered to be a preferred flood zone, or if you're in an AE flood zone, if you are in Long Island, because you live on an island, you are surrounded by water, you are in a flood zone, people. You are always going to be in a flood zone, okay? Now, when it comes to determining rates for flood insurance, basically what ends up happening is they base the rates on firm or pre-firm, and on also how much elevation you have to the home. So in this case, because this insured is currently, I know, is going to be in a flood zone, and she's a first time home buyer, what I have suggested to her was that she do this. Flood insurance is the only insurance policy that can be transferred from one person to another. You cannot transfer auto, you cannot transfer renters, you cannot transfer anything of that nature. But flood insurance is the only policy that can be assumed from one individual to another. So I told her what she wants to do is ask the current homeowner, do they currently have flood insurance? If the answer is yes, and they've lived there for a certain amount of time, chances are they have been already grandfathered in with the preferred rates. When Sandy happened, they redrew the flood maps, which now meant that most people who were not in a flood zone are now currently in a flood zone. So if they redrew those flood maps and now she was not in a flood zone prior, which meant that she was in the X zone and she had one of the preferred rates, which was, let's just say, approximately $600 a year. If I rewrite this policy for her, due to the fact that they have redrawn those flood maps, that $600 premium now goes to over $3,000. So her best bet in this instance is to see if she can assume that other party's flood insurance. Then I also told her you're going to have to check, what I want her to do is check with the town to see if there's an elevation certificate on file, because an elevation cert can run you a good amount of money in order to actually produce to an insurance company, because if you're in a flood zone, they are now requiring elevation certificates. So that is actually how they're going to base to see how much elevation you have, and that's how much premium that you will pay in reference to that. So the maximum coverage on a dwelling, on a policy that you can have for flood insurance is $250,000 for the dwelling. They will not cover the things in the basement. This is why all your things have to be first floor and above. Now, in reference to the contents portion, then people say to me all the time, well, what is contents? What's contents? Easiest way to describe contents: take your house, shake it upside down, anything that falls out that you will walk away with, which is tangible, whether it be like a blender bottle like this here. Anything that's tangible that you can walk away with, that is going to be your content. So that's going to be your clothes, your forks, your TV, your knives, things of that nature. That is what you consider to be content. Dwelling coverage, they only give you $250,000, and the max, that's the max, and then the max on the contents is $100,000. Now people say to me, well, I have more things than that. Well, there's something that you can actually buy, which is called excess flood insurance. So when it comes down to flood insurance and things of that nature, you always just want to make sure that it's check with the town, see if there's an elevation certificate on file. If there is, then that's what you're going to want to take if you have no choice but to purchase a brand new policy. However, your best bet when it comes to flood insurance is if you can actually get grandfathered in and actually assume someone else's. You just say to them, hey, I'm going to purchase your flood insurance policy. Let's sit down, work out the numbers, and we'll sit down at the closing table. So I usually actually will help my insureds out by calculating what that premium is to see, depending on how much time that they have left on that flood insurance. So if you have any questions, this is what I'm here for. Again, my name is Aisha. I'm just here to give you that basic, simple insurance information. I've been doing this for the last, I usually stop at 14 because I want you to think I started when I was 12 or 2. Whichever one you would prefer. So if you actually happen to enjoy this information, and if you want to see more information, whether it be regarding homeowners, autos, renters, umbrellas, and an umbrella policy, anything that goes over and beyond the limits of liability on that auto and also the homeowners, I want you to go ahead and make sure that you hit the like button. I also need for you to subscribe and click that little bell so you'll get notifications anytime I actually download or upload a new video. But go ahead, make sure that you send me your questions so I can answer them. Thank you so much for watching, and have an amazing day.